B, let's start with the main topic Quinn had to address, which was the Brandon McManus stuff. The only real question for Washington was, when did they know about it? And then, did they sign this guy knowing about the allegations? Quinn was very clear that the team found out about it on May 27th, which I believe is the date everything first came out. And he was released, I think, on June 2nd. So, they didn't know about it, and they didn't waste much time once the allegations came out. Listen, I don't know what happened in Jacksonville. I don't know what happened on that plane, but I think the Commanders handled that the complete right way.
They did what they were supposed to do. They heard the information, they went and they investigated it, and then made a move. That's what they're supposed to do. I mean,
yeah.
Just like if they had found out information that pointed to where he was cool and they kept him, wouldn't have a problem with that.
Right. I think, like we've said, kicker's a hard spot to deal with trouble. Quinn was also asked about, franchise history having any impact on the situation. And he's like, listen, man, I can't talk about ongoing investigations. The one thing Quinn said was you always got to be ready for difficult conversations. And I wonder if the allegations, the lawyer for, what do you call that? Because they're not defendants, the complainants, I guess. I don't know. Busby, the lawyer for the two women making the claim against McManus, said that they've been trying to handle this privately for some time, which means McManus has at least known about this for some time. And you wonder what would have happened if he had let the team know earlier. And I think that's what Dan was trying to say. He had a team meeting, and he basically told all his other guys, listen, if something happens, let us know, and we can try to get through it together. Waiting and hoping something goes away very, very rarely works.
Yeah.
So that was like you had.
But I think, still, although they released him, we don't know exactly what happened. And
no,
just because they released him doesn't mean he's guilty. Because the dude Bugsby can say what he wanted to say, but there was another law firm that had that case as well. So at this point, he was released, and he has to go out and defend himself. And if he feels he didn't do anything, I hope he defends himself to the fullest. If he did do something, then that'll show.
Yeah. Yeah. I am. That situation should play itself out in courts or civil courts or whatever. And I kind of just going to move forward. Perhaps more important to our show was Dan Quinn confirmed he's a frequent listener of BMitch and Finlay. I think. Did you hear that part?
I didn't hear that part.
Landfill, did you hear that part?
Yep.
My man. He was asked a question about Tyler Biotish, and he just calls him badass.
Yeah. I thought he had said something else.
No. Now listen.
But that may have been his nickname when he was in Dallas.
Yeah, you know what?
That came off his tongue so easy, it could have been.
It may have been, Brian. But it also may have been that he just heard it on our show because he listens all the time.
Could be.
I did speak with someone from Dallas who said, yeah, that's what they've been calling him for a while.
Yeah.
But it's also entirely possible that he was reminded of it because he's a frequent listener to the program.
All right, JP.
Dan Quinn seems like a dude that would enjoy our show. That's all I'm saying.
Probably will.
All we do is talk football and make fun of each other. That's, it's a pretty good place to be.
We make a lot of fun of you.
A lot of fun gets made of me. A lot of fun gets made of Jeff. I wonder who gets less fun made of them, you or Landfill. Probably you, but neither of you catch the heat Jeff and I catch.
Well, but you and Jeff are just that type of person.
Jeff, how are your heat catching rankings?
I definitely catch the most heat on this show.
Well, yeah, he catches it from the moment you get on the mic to the moment you get off, JP.
Yeah, like what? I don't even know why we asking this question.
I'm not disagreeing with you there, even though you caught no heat from me today.
Everybody, Jay.
Who do you think catches the most heat? I think it's Jeff, then me, and I legit don't know who's 3 and 4.
Oh, it's definitely me, you, beat in Landfill.
Okay. Yeah,
I just wait till we get off air and I beat Landfill up every day. I walk in that little room, he can't run. I get him right there.
That it's amazing that the four of us end up in that little room. That room makes the prison cell look like a 5-star hotel.
Yep.
I thought his answer on Emmanuel Forbes was interesting. That picture of Forbes went viral, and I don't really understand why it did, but it did. And I don't understand why it did in that there were pictures of him from last year, and they played a full year in the NFL. Like, I don't know why now it became like a viral thing, how skinny he is.
It's social media, Jay. It doesn't make sense.
That's true. But Quinn was like, listen, size is what it is, but we believe in the ball skills and the length. And if you look at Forbes, you ever stand next to him, he's got super long arms.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you had to bet bounce back year, Davis or Forbes, new defense, ideally these are better defensive coaches. Who would you put your money on between those two guys?
I'll go with Forbes.
Why?
It was so far away. It's so bad. I mean, Davis did have some moments.
Yeah.
Forbes even had some moments, but he was a young guy who came in, and as I tell you all the time, you got to learn how to play at this level, and he had no support. Whenever it happened, they basically threw him out there and was like, hey, he's not getting better. That's the way it seemed. Nobody defended him. Nobody tried to go out there and say, well, we're working on this, that, or the other. Dan is already talking about how they're going to try to make sure the things he does well is going to be out there. So I would suspect he'll have the biggest jump.
They put the skinniest dude in the NFL one-on-one against the most physical receiver in the NFL, then seemed surprised when it went poorly, and then benched the guy.
Right, so it couldn't have been them because their scheme is great.
Yeah, I think Forbes could be. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Quinn was also asked about the safety situation where it appears maybe Quan Martin and Jeremy Chin kind of appear to be your starter, and he was very clear how fluid he considers the safety situation in his defense.
Mm-hmm.
And he said specifically, he's like, we're also going to play a lot of 3 safeties. And I think that is interesting and kind of plays, I don't know if it plays to their strengths, but I think, you've got Percy Butler there, Quan Martin, Derek Forrest, Jeremy Reeves. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting watch to see that all unfold.
You know what that tells me? A lot of depth. We've seen all of them play very well. So it's a lot of depth. And they're going to have some decisions to make, but, hey, they're here to make the team better.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's just I circled back to them letting Cam Curl walk.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly they like the depth because I guess they drafted what round was the kid from Washington? He was the 6th rounder, I believe. So they did add a safety in the draft. But I think they are believers in not the strong and free, but just like a lot of rotational pieces on the back end. And they clearly believe they can be fairly interchangeable is my hunch. Now, the Chin thing that worries me is he's a really physical player and he's a lot bigger than I thought seeing him in person.
Yeah, he is.
But you need I worry about the deep end, and we've seen that problem here in Washington for years now, getting beat really deep. And that's what the folks I talked to down from Carolina said might be a problem for Jeremy. Maybe they, Forbes, I think BSJ could have a big bounce back year too, because he showed real promise the first 2 seasons. Last year he slipped. The whole defense slipped, but he wasn't great. I think that's a guy going into a contract year that could really be well served by having a good season, I would say.
Yeah, I'm just look, man. I just can't wait for them to get on the field because I keep saying stuff because of what I envision and what I hear and what I know, and I just think things are gonna be better. So I want to just see them get out there in the pass because right now I can't judge anything with people in t-shirt and panties.
Do you know if they're in pads next week?
I don't
can't
know
remember.
that.
I feel like they might be allowed to.
I doubt if they'll be in pads.
I mean, maybe just little shells or something. But,
Yeah, but shells, that's shells. It's not pads.
right.
Mini camps have gone away from pads for a long time.
Quinn did say that they've gotten to the end of their OTA work and that now they're going to be running 11 on 11. So I do think when I walk down there in 20 minutes or so that we'll see some legit 11 on 11, which at least is more fun to watch, even if the linemen just kind of stand up. What is a staple of not real football 11 on 11 is the O-line getting pissed when the D-line kind of makes a play. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, they're passing.
They know I can cut
there's
him.
No blocking.
I can slice him at any time and he'll be complaining.
Right.
But they run after they know that you tag them and you say, I got you. Then they continue running and go, oh, I got there. If he had cut you, hit you on that knee, you wouldn't have been running no more.
Landfill, this is a question for you. I posted the video of Dan Quinn kind of non-answering the thing about Forbes' weight. And I got this reply from Dylan Conahor. He said, send him to Arby's twice a week, mandatory. If we had to advocate for one place to bulk up Forbes, would you say Arby's? Would you lead with Arby's?
I mean, Arby's is pretty good. It would definitely be up there.
So here's my thing. The Arby's curly fries are good, right? But I don't know that I could eat those multiple times a week. I think the one place, if you're looking to bulk up, it's my one seed for all fast food, although maybe this isn't quite fast food because they don't have like drive-through. I'd say Five Guys. They got the best fries.
You have to have.
If you want him to gain weight, you don't send him to either one of those because he's going to gain weight wrong. You want to gain weight the right way.
Also, we want Forbes to gain weight, not become poor. So don't send him to Five Guys multiple times a week.
If you send him to those places, he's going to gain weight. He's going to be pudgy instead of getting muscle. So they have protein shakes and powder to give him over there and have him over there with Chad. That'd be good.
B, don't you think? I hear you. I hear you in general, right? But that dude, you might need the protein shakes and the Five Guys and the Arby's.
No, you don't. I mean,
he is skinny.
He might be skinny, but I like this whole thing about weight. It amazes me as so many people discuss it, but like we all know how we gain weight outside of being in the football field. And those people inside that building, they know if he needs to gain what he needs to gain and how he needs to gain it. But just go and eat fast food ain't gonna help him. Because Emmanuel Forbes has a high metabolism.
Sure.
That's not gonna help him. That's gonna make him have some problems, some medical problems and things like that going to some of those fast food places. But Chad knows what he's doing. And if he were to gain just 5 to 10 pounds and it's muscle, that'd be way better than him going to gain 5 to 10 pounds of fat.